Okay, so I'm making another attempt at Aspen, the Roaring Fork visual approach. We've got two nav aids dialed in. We've got Red Table, which is DBO, directly ahead on the left, so over there, and then we've got Rifle, which is a town, which is on the right, somewhere down here. Basically, I'm trying to fly into that valley, which is actually this river here, which has the Roaring Fork River in it. Pick up the Roaring Fork River, and then we're gonna basically use that river as a visual reference to bring us into the runway. Got a really high, really high QNH, and the airport is also at 7,900 feet. So we are now visual with Roaring Fork River. So I'm going to set a descent now to 10,000 feet. I'm going to take the speed down to 250. So this is the river we're going to follow, basically, so I'm now going to turn slightly left. Heading 100, so roughly towards Red Table. We're going to activate the approach phase. Go. So we're at 14,900 now. I'm going to follow this river here to the left. And you can see the trains starting to come up on the thing. So we're actually below some of the terrain, which is what's red. So some of this terrain is actually going to be a danger to us now, but it's way over there in the background. Everything over here is still okay. So this is where the Roaring Fork River splits off to the right, and then it goes left over that way, so we're going to actually follow it around to the right into Glenwood Springs, which has a little airport somewhere in there, so the airport display on. We should see it there. There we go. KGWS, somewhere down there. Head on the right in a few minutes. One of these airports in here. Okay, so follow this now. That's still a river as far as I'm aware. Aspen is somewhere over here. I'm going to keep following this river. I'm actually hoping that this is the right river that I'm following here. So there's Glenwood Springs, so this is the correct area. So Glenwood is here, Glenwood Springs, and the airport underneath us. We're basically going to be handrailing this valley here. Recommended altitude for this approach from this direction is 10,000 feet, so we're going to try to stick to 10,000 feet, follow it around to the left and right, and then the airport should pop up for us. Let's just zoom in slightly. So there we go, we've got 4COO showing up, which is another small airport. I'm ahead just on the left hand side, so that's probably maybe not even in the game. I'd be surprised some of these airports are not actually included. So the Roaring Fork River there, going around to the left, so that's okay. 10,000 feet now. I'm quite happy with that visual minimum, so let's turn left to follow that river. 20. Okay, we've got speed below 230 knots, which is a good speed. Aspen traffic, Delta 1544, inbound on the Roaring Fork Visual Runway 15, Aspen. We can set flaps 1 now. We're just going to keep following this river here. And it's all visual, so as long as I'm visually separated from all of the terrain and so on, that is no problem. So you see, the problem is going to come a little bit later when we've kind of got to go through this little mountainous terrain here, and that's going to be where we're going to fly. Probably going to stay around 10,000 feet for that, and then drop down into the airport for the final approach. But the main thing is, now that I've actually got a nice altitude already, I can set the aircraft up really well. So that doesn't become a huge problem on short final like I did last time flying with the speed brakes down the short final track. Let's go to 105. We'll just maintain 10,000 for now, so it's quite chill actually. It's quite chill until here, and then it's going to be exciting. So I think the river goes around to the left and then down. So the Aspen Airport is behind this hill here. So we're going to have to fly through here. And the airport itself is at 7900, so I'm actually going to put in a fix. KASE15. So we've got 15 miles, so we are 3,000 feet above at 15 miles, so we're still quite okay for our altitude. We don't need to worry too much. When we get to 10 miles, I'm probably going to start doing a descent. No, not even 10, 6 miles or so, so just keep flying in. If you think about it, roughly 300 feet per mile for a 3-degree glide path. So if I want to keep a 3-degree-ish glide path, probably 3.5, I'm looking at maybe 400 feet per mile. So yeah, 400 times 10 miles is 4,000 feet above the airfield, so we're actually quite low actually. But that's okay, because it means it gives us time to sort our lives out. So the airport's now at our 10 miles away, 2 o'clock-ish. Yeah, and this was also a big giveaway, as there's a massive interstate here that we can also use as a visual fix. Yeah, so follow the interstate around here. This is the ridge, I think this one here. So this is the point where we're actually getting into final approach territory, so gears should be coming down shortly. And how long have we got left? 10 miles, so we should be 3,000 above, which gives us 11,000, so take off 3 miles from that, so 7 miles we'll start doing a descent, roughly. It's not track miles, so I'm going to fly to the left, trying to just follow this in. Flaps 3 in.
2,500.
8 miles there.
2,500.
Good. I'm going to say 8 miles, 7 miles would do our descent. Yeah, so this is looking much like yesterday actually. 7.5, so let's dial it 3 degrees. 3 degrees is what the aircraft can comfortably maintain. It's going to dip into this valley here. Seven miles to KASE. Altitude warning horn, so just get rid of that. There's the airport, runway in sight, and we're on the
2,500.
That's okay. Keep going right, because I've got to dodge this mountain here a little bit. Runway in sight. Gear down, flaps full. And just flying with a heading log, to be honest. Turn off the flight directors as well. We're looking at around 900 feet per minute. Aspen traffic, Delta 1544, final runway 15, roaring fork. Aspen. So hopefully nobody's going to do anything silly. So it's a 3.5 degree PAPI light, according to the charts. I don't know if that's also according to Microsoft, so I'm going to aim for a little bit less of a descent rate. Flaps full. Let's check the cabin.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
There we go, runway visual. Looking at 600 feet per minute by this. Ground speed's 154, times it by 5 plus 250, 750 per minute. To keep 3 degrees, but I don't think it is 3 degrees, I think it's weird degrees.
1,000.
Because it doesn't really... It's 3 degrees, it hasn't really changed, has it? On centre line. Flaps full, landing gears down. Signs are on. There's 3 degrees. There's our happy lights, there's 3.5 degrees, so a little bit more than 750, 800 to 900 feet per minute. It's too fast, pull it back up. Let's try
Minimum.
700. Landing. 700 looks good, 750, 800. Try that. Yeah, looking okay. Spoilers armed and speed brakes at those two.
400.
Medium. Okay, now we're looking at the runway blocks.
400.
Low altitude and flares going to happen at 40.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Butter. Reverse green. Decel. Nose wheel down. Nice ski lodge there on the right. 80 knots. Reverse disengaged and manual braking. Spoilers up. Brake hard, we're going to make this one. Flaps away. Let's take the gate on the right of this chap. The second one. Aspen traffic, runway 15 vacated. That's actually somebody flying in the game. I've got a small cold at the moment. Okay, so this is going to be our parking space. And this little screw here is roughly the middle of the aircraft. That's okay. Parking brake set. Good. And the engine goes off. So 45-minute flight from Salt Lake City to Aspen with roaring fork visual, runway 15, and this time was a fair bit better than the last approach I made here. And also the landing was very nice, for once. Normally have a habit of smashing it into the ground. Well.